All right, let's get it. Week 12 review, week 13 preview. All right, so my squad versus Who You Fat. So it looks like we still have maybe 1, 2 categories up for grabs, maybe even 3 points. So yeah, we'll see how this. If I could, uh, if Who You Fat maybe come back in this and this, and if I can come back in this points. But yeah, Who You Fat looks like probably not gonna, so far like almost in last place. You know what I'm saying? So um, depending on what the 16th place team did, maybe Who You Fat will be in last place after this week. So yeah, man, Who You Fat gotta get it together, man. Put in the workout routine for his squad, and yeah, well, see how that goes, and then we got the next matchup: 420 B Tour 69 versus 808 Team Don Mello. Looks like 420, can he come back in? Wow, they're pretty close in field goal free throw percentage. Team Don Mello can even win those and win almost 9-1. Wow. But 420 looks like he's trying to come back in rebounds, maybe even points. So we'll see how it is. This is Sunday, only a last day. So he probably got a few players playing. So I know he's trying to come back maybe in points and even steals. He could come back in points, steals, and rebounds. So we'll see how that goes. But Melo will come back in the field goal and free throw percentage. Then we got Ad City versus Bud City Bums. 12 plays versus 8 plays. Looks like Ad City's trying to come back in free throw percentage. They're super close in that. But in everything else, every other category looks like it's locked. The only category that's unlocked is free throw percentage. So we see if Ad City come back at that. Best Ad City can do is 5-5 though, for sure. But other than that, it looks like it's going to be a 6-4 game or a 5-5 game for sure. Then we got first place versus 16th place. Interesting how that lined up for the first place team to play the last place team right now in the league. And they're tied up, which is, interesting. But it looks like points, they're pretty close. Blocks, close. Even turnovers, slightly close. 3-point percentage, slightly. Free throw percentage, yeah, they're pretty close. So there's a few categories still up for grabs, and yeah, we'll see. If can Taylor Swift down on the upset the first place team. Let's see if he comes back, and he can come back in 3-pointers made too, slightly, yeah. So if he come back in 3-pointers made, he can come back in blocks. He can slightly come back in turnovers. So yeah, Taylor Swift down under last place team still has a super slight chance to upset the defending champion and #1 team right now in the league. Then we got Me Too Movement versus Team Alexander. And it looks like Me Too Movement is going to get almost pretty much a blowout, a dime blowout. Dime stands for 10 category, 10, So yeah, it looks like he might get the dime blowout. Nah, he won't because of turnovers, but almost get the dime blowout. But it looks like rebounds, he is the closest thing he in possibly, but everything else he's definitely locked out. Rebounds, he may be able to come back in, but probably not. So it looks like Team Alexander is going to get a blowout win, and Me Too Movement probably going to be, with that loss, probably going to be moving out of the playoff, seedings, out of the 7 plays, probably maybe, out of the top 8. Then we got Buckingham versus Orlando Pride. Buckingham trying to come. Oh, he could come back in field goal percentage, but very slightly. He could come back in blocks 2 maybe. So only maybe 2 categories he could come back in, but he'll still lose 4 to 6 if he do come back. But Orlando Pride can actually win this rebound category, and he could even win turnover category. So Orlando Pride does have a chance to win a dime. It has a chance to dime Buckingham, get the blowout dime on Buckingham. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Orlando Pride looking like he's trying to push for that, home court advantage in the first round of the playoffs of the fantasy, pushing up to, definitely trying to stabilize and solidify his squad, Orlando Pride as the top four team to get that home court advantage in the first round. Then we got McTarget's Goons versus Fantasy Savage. McTarget's Goons pulls off the upset on Fantasy Savage. And yes, I know that Fantasy Savage, #1 draft pick, he went out on Monday. And yeah, that's the worst time for one of your #1 draft pick or your best fantasy asset to go out on the first day of the week of fantasy, Monday. And yeah, Fantasy Savage, yeah, and Halliburton, yeah, his boy, his #1 fantasy player went out, man, and I think even maybe his #2 and #3, man, he had like 2 guards, yeah. One of his top 2 guards, is out with, lingering, issues, keeping them out. And McTarget's Goons pulls off the upset W. Based off that, blew him out in almost every category except a couple. And yeah, they're not close in anything else. So it looks like McTarget's Goons will wrap this game up 8-2 for sure. And yeah, that's what it is, man. Yeah, like this game is locked in every category. All the other games, at least there was a few categories still up for grabs. This game looks like locked at 8-2. Then we got Ass Nation Part 2 versus John's Blockheads. So Ass Nation Part 2, yeah, I think he had Ja, and Ja might have went out on Monday too. Did he play Ja? I'm not sure, but let's see. Oh no, Ja was out. He set him out. He was out before the week lock. But yeah, looks like Ass Nation could try to possibly come back at 3-pointers made. And that's about it. Rebounds maybe, but that'd be tough to still come back in that. And you can still drop the field goal percentage. John's Blockheads can slightly come back in that. So we'll see. Yeah, they have a lot of players playing both teams. Well, Ass Nation has way more players playing. So maybe he can even come back in steals and his players get a bunch of steals and John's Blockheads teams don't. So we'll see how that goes. Then we got Alright, then we got a preview for week 13. Alright, so let's look at this week. The game of the week was the 4 versus 5 matchup, which will be a first round playoff matchup. So shout out to Orlando Pride winning the game of the week. Game of the week, it looks like, yeah, like I was saying, Buckingham can try to come back in blocks and field goal percentage. No, mainly blocks, really. And that's about it. But he ain't really got no block kids playing, and he already played. So yeah, Brogdon is not gonna get blocked like that. He only got one player playing, Jeremy Grant. So if Malcolm Brogdon versus Jeremy Grant on the rebounds, let's see, Jeremy Grant could beat out Malcolm Brogdon on the rebounds. possibly. So maybe Orlando Pride could win 9-1. So for the game of the week. So interesting. So let's move on to the preview for next week. Let's see what it look like. So yeah, that was the game of the week. Orlando Pride versus Buckingham. The matchup week 13. My Squad versus Ass Nation Part 2. Interesting. So I'm going against a team that doesn't, one of the teams, you know, that's near the bottom of the standings. He doesn't have his best guard, which is Ja. I'm pretty sure that is his best guard. So yeah, man, I'm looking to blow out Ass Nation Part 2. I'm looking to try to get that dime blowout, man. You already know. So it should be, interesting to see if Ass Nation Part 2 can try to, upset my squad without his best guard, Ja. So yeah, let's see how the matchup goes, man. It should be interesting. Then we got 808 Team Mello versus Buzz City Bums. And let's see if Buzz City Bums can get the upset on 808, man. And try to get back in get more closer to a winning record, basically, above 500. So we got next D's Nuts versus 420. So yeah, let's see if 420 coming off of an L against Mello, if he could come back. I know 420 going to definitely want to get his revenge this upcoming week, coming off of that L against it. So he went from playing the number 2 squad, now he's going to be playing the number 1 squad. So it's a huge, test for 420's team to see, if they can upset the number 1 squad and get back in the playoff hunt. Then we got Team Alexander versus Ass City. Can Ass City get the upset over Team Alexander, who will be coming off of a blowout W? And Ass City, I think his game was pretty close. I don't know if he's gonna win or lose or tie. So yeah, that should be interesting too. Orlando Pride versus Taylor Swift Down Under. So Orlando Pride coming off of a blowout. Yeah, I think he's coming off of a blowout win, possibly a dime blowout he could get. And can the last place team upset Orlando Pride, who's going to be definitely be a top 4 and top 3 team in the league right now in the standings. So yeah, the question is, can Taylor Swift Down Under pull off the upset on them boys? Then we got Fantasy Savage versus Me Too Movement. I think both of them will be coming off of an L, slightly blowout. Yeah, both of them coming off of blowout L's. So I know both of them going to be in the hunt. So, that's going to be a very interesting game because they both coming off of blowout L's. Both teams wanting to redeem themselves ASAP. So, yeah, we go see, man. And, one of them going to be, that's going to be very interesting matchup, especially of teams that's, might be, outside of the playoff house right now looking in. Outside looking in. So, then we got John's Blockheads versus Buckingham. And Buckingham will be coming off of a blowout loss. John's Blockheads, I think, maybe coming off of a pretty close game that I think he might win or close to a tie. But, can Buckingham get the upset over John's Blockheads and, Buckingham remain, within the thick of the playoff hunt, And then we got Ho You Fat versus McTarget's Goons. So, yeah, Ho You Fat gonna be coming off of the L. McTarget's Goons coming off of the W. So, gonna be interesting to see if Ho You Fat gonna try to, upset McTarget's Goons and, get up out of the last place area in the standings. And yeah, that should be, interesting match of the season. So the game of the week, yeah, we don't know yet. It's going to be tough to probably, most likely, John's Blockheads versus Buckingham, I'm thinking. But, we'll see. Or maybe even Don Mello versus Buzz City Bums. But that's what it is, man. Like, comment, subscribe. Holla!